Here he go. What?
What? What, man?
Welcome. Stop. All right.
What's this
Hey,
about? What's
everybody.
this?
Welcome to
I
another.
don't know.
Huh?
She said, "What's this about?" I said, I
What's
don't
the
know. He
sidebar
No,
about?
because hold on. You know what it is? Because every time, as soon as we start the show, the countdown, as soon as the countdown go off, he's sitting there cheesing like Charlie Murphy.
Hey, I'm
And
just
not
getting ready.
welcome everybody to Feel Good Talk, Williams World. I'm your host, Will I Am. And before I get started, let me introduce my partner in crime, the man behind the plan, Charles Brakely. Y'all know him as DJ Chuck B. What's up, Chuck?
Yo, what's going on, Will? Hey, man, happy to be here, man. All every time we get on here, you never cease to amaze me. We always have a great show. Guest be it's off the chain. So I'm looking forward to great conversation. And like I always tell you, if you ready, if you rock it, I'm definitely rolling. So let's go. I messed up, but
It's all right. It's okay.
You got
well,
it.
hey, it is what it is. Accept me for who I am. Saying let's stop. Go ahead.
That's right. Our guest tonight is a repeat offender. She's been on here before and promised that she was going to come back after when we had her on here before, she was writing a book. Well, now she has two books.
Right.
So we couldn't wait to get her back on. And without no further delay, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tya Moore. What's up, Tya?
Hey, thanks for
I
having me back again.
What's going on,
absolutely,
Taya?
They say
absolutely,
if somebody invites you the second time, I mean the first time you impress them. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
appreciate being invited back.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, you had some interesting stuff last time, so the plot thickened a little bit since the last time we've seen you because you were in the process of writing a book.
Mm.
Yes, the last time I was here, I was in the process of writing a book, and I finished that book.
Wow,
A fresh
awesome,
cup of
awesome.
tea, no sugar. Came out
Okay.
last year, February 22nd, 2021. It's done really well. It's done what I wanted it to do. I mean, the main purpose of writing it was for me to put my own story out there. The second purpose was to help other people learn a process for healing. So I think I explained last time the tea process is just like making a cup of tea. You need to know what your ingredients are. You got to let the water brew. I mean, you got to let the water boil, then the tea brew, and then you decide what you want to add to your tea. So that was a metaphor for myself or anyone else that needs to heal.
Mm.
You go through the healing process. Mine started at childhood. I had to go all the way back to 5 and 6 years old, you know what I mean, to figure
Mhm.
out what from my childhood was prohibiting me from healing. So that
Mm.
that's literally the tea process. My ingredients were abandonment issues,
Mm.
insecurities, um, addictive personality, things of
Mhm.
that nature. And I had to really brew to figure out, okay, these things they gotta go. They can't go. I can't be a fresh cup of tea with them, so they have to go. And the
Wow.
the real thing is, once you finish making your tea, you're the only one that needs to like how it tastes.
Mhm. I like
If you
that.
feel like it needs something else, then you add something. You feel like it needs sugar. That's why I say no sugar. Like I'm a
Mhm.
fresh cup of tea. I don't need anything else added to me. And the
Mm.
best thing about it is you can literally do the tea process repeatedly because even if when we go through healing, there's going to always be some part of us that still needs to heal again. So when you
Mhm.
get to that point again, you start the process over. But your ingredients won't be the same in most cases.
Wow. Hey, let me ask you a question. So, what made you? Okay, what made you? You know, I guess reinvent yourself. What made you realize that you had a problem and that you had to, sit back and change as a person?
Well,
Or when you had a problem, or when did you find out you had a problem? There you go. I couldn't get it out right.
so the main thing was the abandonment issues. And the thing about abandonment issues is that it allows you to let other people not treat you the way that they should simply because you don't want them to leave.
Okay.
Or it allows you to get rid of people before they can leave you. And it was like, I can't keep going through life getting rid of people. And I can't keep going through life letting people treat me any way that they want to simply because, oh, he stayed. So I'm gonna let him
Mhm.
do this because at least he stayed. Oh, he left for 6 months and ain't say nothing. And when he came back, I was just happy he hadn't really abandoned me. So when I realized like that was my pattern, I was like, no, I deserve better than this. I can't keep living this way. So I am totally free of abandonment issues. I don't care who leaves. Like, I'm so serious.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah, it's something that I want to address. Two things that were mentioned in the book. Your dad was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that like growing up with a father in the military?
Well, I only did it till I was about 5. No, I'm gonna say 4. We had to like move around a lot or whatever. But my dad got out of the military, I think, when I was like 4, and then I was only with him until maybe like almost 6 years old. So yeah.
So you talk about abandonment issues, right? Where did you think that stem from? Was
From
that
my dad?
because of the military? Okay, all right. Cool.
No, not from the military.
Okay, because I know they
So
got to leave a lot. You know what I mean, to go different places. So okay.
So what happened was, we moved away from my dad because him and my mom, whatever. We moved away from him, and then we came here to Philly from Ohio, and he came to visit, and he was like, "I promise I'll be back in 2 weeks." Well, 2 weeks turned into 10 years.
Wow.
So from a child, every time somebody knocked on the door, it's like, "Is that my dad? Is that my dad?"
Yeah.
And it's like, as I got older, grown, I became that kid whenever somebody would leave, or whenever somebody said they were coming and they didn't show up or ghosted me or whatever. It would be like I'm resorting back to that again. So yeah, and how I really healed the abandonment issues was by repairing my relationship with my dad.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
Another top. Well, wait a minute before I jump the gun. Yeah, I think, and this is just my opinion. I think that mentally, the abandonment thing affects daughters way more than it does the sons. Because I remember, like in my situation, my dad left, but my dad left, but he was here. And what I mean, like him and my mom separated, and it was just mom in the house, you know what I mean? And it was more like it goes to the saying, mama's boy, daddy's little girl. That's a real thing. You know what I mean? So like when it seems like when the dad leave and mom's still there, it don't really affect you till you get older and realize what coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Right.
But on the flip side, like if you're a little girl and daddy's gone, that can have a adverse effect. Like because they always say that's your first love. That's how you know how a woman's supposed to be treated. Your father. You know what I mean? So
and that's true, Will. That's true because the woman's a nurturer. So of course the boys, they actually, that's why they attach their mom like that. As far as the father, a lot of times in certain households, he's a disciplinary. You know what I mean? So it's understandable. Like you said, you didn't miss anything because you had your mom, as far as that nurturing. But then again, you still miss that, growing up as a man and showing you how to be a man. So it affects. I think it affects us the same, but it's in different ways.
In different ways.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think we miss that side, especially if a father leaves. We miss that side of the man teaching you how to be a man, because a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. So you need that father. I know a lot of people. Some people disagree with me because I did it. You can do it, but you really need that male figure in that boy's life or young man's life in order to show him how to become a man. So I think it affects them both the same way, but in different ways. Well, I guess the same way, but no, not the same way, but just as bad, but in different ways.
It definitely does, because men definitely have abandonment issues also.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I don't want to be. I'm trying to think how I can say this. You know how you can say sometimes you see somebody, you can tell they didn't have their dad in their life. I mean, that's a part of it too. They're kind of soft, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely comes out in different ways. And I always grew up thinking I didn't have daddy issues. I'm like, I'm not promiscuous. I'm not out here dressing half naked. But as I get, because that's the cliche thing that people say when they say a woman have daddy issues, is like she just, does whatever. But at the end of the day, there's levels to daddy issues. And I didn't really, really, really realize I had them until my grandfather died. Because I grew up in a house with my mom and my grandparents, and I had my uncles around, and they filled that role, of a dad. So, yeah, I didn't realize it until my grandfather died. Then it was like, wow. Because after that happened, I'm not in the house no more, so I don't see my uncles as much either. You know what I mean? So, and that's when you keep repeating the same mistakes with men, it's like, yo, why do I keep doing this? I know better than this. I was raised around a loving family. That's the thing people think sometimes, like, maybe I grew up in a single parent home. No, my grandparents were married for 47 years.
Wow.
And I literally lived in the house with them. So all I ever see was, happily married people. So why did I grow up and just get in these, situations with men where I just let them treat me however? Or why did I get in a situation where I treat men however because I'm mad at my dad? Or I'm gonna make you leave me, or I'm gonna sabotage this just so I don't have to deal with you leaving me. Like the abandonment issues really, really, really ran deep.
Wow.
They ran deep. So I know I'm not alone. I see this in women all the time. Most people aren't willing to break themselves down like I did in order to be better now, but I really recommend it because I just feel so good. Like,
Yeah, and that's awesome because again, in order to recognize you have a problem, you have to if you want to solve the problem, you have to recognize you have a problem. So again, a lot of people, some people, just don't want to face those fears. They actually scared to realize that, look, I need help. They think that's a weakness. It takes more of strength to say that versus, oh, I'm okay. You're not okay. That's not being strong. That's, to me, is being weak because you're not trying to show your weaknesses and stuff like that. But when you need help, you need help. And sometimes you gotta look at yourself and say, listen, I need help. So I'm gonna have to start doing certain things, or why do I have these problems? Let me figure this stuff out so that I can be better for the next person, or really for myself, be better for myself, so that I can be, right within. So again, I give you props on that for,
thank you.
finding out, because a lot of times people don't do that. So we
And
got
you
comments
learn.
out there. Exactly. So we're gonna get right to these comments real quick. We got a lot of them out there. We got a Robert Dickerson. What's up, baby? He says, good evening, family. Sending peace. What's going on? We got Izzy Meditation House. She says, hello, Feel Good Talk family. What's going on, Izzy? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. My man Tyrone Ricks is in the house. He says the Lieutenant of Life is tuned in. You're always tuned in. We appreciate you, man. He also says, good evening, special guest. He says, Ty,
Hello,
my
Tyrone.
brother Charles Brakeley and brother William Dickerson. What's going on? Hey, man, get with me, too, because tomorrow, we'll talk. We got LaJordan. What's going on, Mary? She says, hey, y'all. What's up, lady? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We got Patricia Hollis. She says, good evening, beautiful people. What's going on? We got Sandra Robertson. She says, amen, sister. And we got one more. She says, we got LaJordan. She says, yes, I can definitely relate to what she's talking about. It took someone that I didn't know to let me know. Let's talk about that, LaJordan. Let's talk about that. She says that I was broken. Let's talk about that, definitely. And anybody out there who wants to, chime in and let us know, what did you do? How did you, conquer this? Tell us, let us know. We would love to hear it. If you can. Now, like I said, some of this stuff is personal, but if you want to, please let us know. So.
Yeah, because that took a lot mentally to do what you did. Because a lot of times it can be mixed, because a lot of times the daddy issues lead to, when you say, how was you having bad luck with guys, sometimes you can get that false sense of security and you get settled. And that trust me, that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? For you to say, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, back up. That took a lot, because a lot of people still stuck in reverse or stuck in neutral. For you to take it out of park and go forward, that's monumental. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot. Because if not, you'd probably still be sitting looking in the mirror, shaking your head like, what's going on here? So right there, then and there, that says a lot. That's that's a strong attribute that you got, that you was able to, shake it off and keep moving.
And that leaves us. I don't know if I'm going too early in this conversation, but that's all about self-care. Taking care of yourself and making
Wait,
sure that
Tom, right? Because it was something else in the cup of tea.
okay, go ahead.
That you talked about. You struggled with your size and height.
Oh yeah, insecurity. Yeah,
Insecurity.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that was the other part of it. When I was younger, I was really really skinny.
Okay.
And that was an issue for men. They'd be like, "Oh, she got pretty eyes, but I wish she had a body." So I go to sleep praying that I get a body. Then I get older and I'm thick, and it's like, you too big, or I don't like big girls, or whatever the case may be. Which I don't think I'm fat, but I am thick, much thicker than I was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to internalize that, and then that was the other part of it. Like, oh well, this person wants me, and I'm big, so I should be grateful, and I should allow this, and I should allow that, simply because this person wants me, and I'm big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about none of that no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about any of that. I'm like, take it or leave it. Whatever I look like is what I look like. So yeah.
Yes.
I really feel like freeing yourself from insecurities is the key to happiness. I mean, we're watching people take their lives over
Yeah.
what other people say about
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? Now, I haven't gotten to that point. Even when I had insecurities, I haven't gotten to that point. But I have cried some tears over
Mm-hmm.
what people have said. I have internalized it. I have allowed behavior because of it. I have tried to take diet pills or something because of it. Whatever. All the things that a lot of people go through. Now, I haven't gone through the route of surgery, which I would never do that. But I'm just saying, insecurities are playing a part in a lot of things that we're seeing
Mm-hmm.
right now. People are living off of what other people think
Mm-hmm.
about their weight, their height, their hair, their clothes, the fact that they're single. And I was insecure about all of that stuff.
Wow.
So, I had to free myself from that. And putting the book out was like, yeah, I'm big. Yeah, I'm single. And, so.
Yeah, I think a lot of social media really has people screwed up. We just talked about that last show on Let's Talk About It, and social media really gives everybody a false sense of security. Period. Like they show you this certain way you're supposed to look, you're supposed to be this way, you're
Right.
supposed to, and at the end of the day, nobody is living like that. You understand what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's all fake. You'll see the pictures touched up, and you'll see all these filters and all that. And at the end of the day, it's nobody walking around here looking like that. And then if you see the horror stories that goes behind all this plastic surgery, you would be like, never mind, I'll just go work out, because a lot of these people, honestly, if you're a little big, you might just need to work out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And if that's the case, why would you get surgery? You don't work out. Once you get the surgery, you still have to work out to maintain weight, and you have to eat right, get yourself on a diet. So why not go through the whole process from the beginning, so it becomes easier, because it becomes a lifestyle once you do that, versus getting the surgery. Now you got the instant results. Well, not even instant results, because you should see after the fact when they wearing bags and all kinds of stuff to drain themselves, and it's horrible. And like I said, social media got people so messed up that they want bigger breasts, they want bigger behinds, they want this, they want that. It's like, come on, just be happy with yourself, and you can work that out. Just get a workout regimen, get on some type of diet. When I say diet, I mean a way of life, not just eat a certain way so that you can maintain that weight. But again, now social media really got people screwed up. So
Not just social media. It's funny. Think that if I'm wrong, correct me. You both of you and anybody watching. I think we all have a sense of insecurity inadvertently sometimes.
oh, yeah.
You know what's funny? Kanye said it in a song. We can get up right now and walk a block down to the store, and we got to get on. We got to have on fresh kicks. I mean, a watch. Just to do that. So I
Right.
mean, sometimes it's inadvertent because you're so used to it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then sometimes it takes for somebody to break that cycle for you and explain, yo, why you doing all of that? You know,
Yeah, you just going to store, right?
right. And then a lot of that was instilled, or we were bred like that from competition in childhood. You know what I mean? We went that chuck. You know what I mean? I mean, if you came and you got the Dookie link, I might go get the herring ball. You know what I mean? And we gonna play pinball. We got on these chains. We just sit there. So I mean, we don't realize that is a form of insecurity as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like all too common, especially growing up. But some people never break that mold. You know, when you get older, it's worse. And then, as you said, social media, that's the gift and the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you could present that false sense, you know, that facade on Facebook. And it's funny, we see it all the time. Like, wait a minute, that's not how you look.
Right.
That ain't how you look. That ain't how you act. That's not where you live. I've been in your house. Where that island come from in that kitchen? That's not who you are.
Right,
you know, so it's just, yeah, it's sad. It can be sad. And like Tya said, I mean, it can play mind games with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people who have went to the extreme because of what somebody else said. But at the same time, how do I say this? You know, they say what don't kill you make you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
It hardened us. You know, we like, I don't care what you, okay. It can harden you, or it can break you down. It depends on what you want out of it. You know what I mean? And
I think it's just different times now, though. You know what I mean? It's totally different times now. Like when we were coming up compared to now, I think it's more pressure on us because of you know, you got these phones, you got so I think it's a whole nother level that we probably would never understand because, you know, we didn't grow up in that era. But I guess if we were, you know, their age, we would understand exactly what they're going through. But like I said, when we were coming up, it was a little bit different. You know, we were able, I don't know, I think we were more Tonka tough. So, you know, I guess, you know, like what they call bullying now, I mean, we did probably worse than that, you know, some of the stuff we used to
absolutely.
Yeah. I say that all the time. I wonder, what is the difference between, you know, us growing up and getting bullied and the kids today getting bullied? And I think the difference is when I went home from school, I got love on the block. These kids go home from school and it don't stop because they got social media and they're still being bullied once they get home. So it's like there's no cutoff. And I think that's what it is. Because I know for me, they tease me in school, but then when I go on the block, it's nothing but love. Like we laughing, we joking. You know, it's none of that. So it's like it offset what happens in school. I'm dealing with that for a short amount of time, but when I come home, it's completely different. And it's like in this day and age, there is no stopping. They bully them in school and they still bully the kid when they come home. They look on their phone and they see, you know, they're still being teased for whatever reason. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But the thing about insecurities is that it only works if you already think that about yourself. Like I was insecure about my weight. So when someone says something about my weight, they're co-signing what I already think about myself. And it's like, oh my God, I'm not wrong. I am fat. This person doesn't want me because they think I'm too big. See, I knew it. You know what I mean? But now it's like if somebody was like, oh, you know, you too big for me. I'm like, okay. And I don't think nothing of it.
Right.
So
you know what we used to do?
What?
We used to burn. That's me and Chuck talk about all the time. I made it to the point, I used reverse psychology with it. Like, okay, I made it to the point where, all right, you can say what you want. It don't bother me, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire back, you know? And I made it to the point where it might be something wrong. It might be something. Bull told me my feet was longer than South Street. But he quickly said, "No, I'm just joking," because he knew, like, you got to make sure you give them, you make it to the point where they leery to fire at you.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
They might think it, but they're not gonna say it. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
what happened to us. That's how we come up. Like, okay, say it, but be prepared for me to fire back on you. And that's how I took it.
Right.
It's something that I call the B Rabbit approach
Mm-hmm.
from 8 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
When he says all this stuff about himself and then he took the power away
I
from the
like
other
that.
person and had
Yeah.
nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to live. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm sick. Yeah, I'm single. And
Mm.
that's what I did with this book. This is my B Rabbit approach. Whatever anybody says about me, I'm like, I already wrote it. So I mean, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it takes the power away from someone else having the power over you with your insecurities. And that's what you give people when you allow them to use your insecurities against you. You're giving them power that they should not have.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we got one comment out there is relating to what we're talking about now, so I'm gonna get right to it. We got Patricia Hollis. She says the internet has too much on it, and this is a different generation out here dealing with a lot of things.
That's true.
Definitely.
I agree.
They are dealing with a whole lot. We didn't have to worry about that, back in the day, if you had got into a tussle or something, you might have took a loss or whatever. You didn't have to worry about it being on the internet, getting views and likes and whatever all day long. You're like, yeah, I got to keep reliving this over and over again. You know what I mean? So it is definitely different. The internet has
Absolutely.
changed the game.
Hey Pat, if you watching, I gotta say something. Pat, Patricia Hollis,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's my family, and she's responsible for a lot of the things I do today. Um, by the generation, Pat would take us, keep us out of trouble. Pat would bring us in the house, in the basement, and play records. She was essentially Pat was my first DJ. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she was our mentor, and she kept us out of trouble. And she's a big reason, because her friend, her friends, they were a little older, but
Mm-hmm.
we learned watching them. So she tried her best to keep us out of harm's way early,
Mm-hmm.
and helped us form the shield. Because they would burn and joke on, and we looked at them and we idolized it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a big part of who I am today. That
Mm-hmm.
right there.
Awesome, man.
That
Yep.
Thanks, Pat.
Yep, and we got her. We got some more comments out there. We got Amy. She says, "Good evening, Feel Good Talk family. What's going on, Amy? Thanks for tuning in." And Patricia Hollis says, "Yes, family." And she got the music notes up there and some hearts. So there you go. So yes, indeed, man. Family, hey, man. It takes it right. Here she goes. It says it takes a village. You're right about that, Pat.
That's true.
Definitely.
absolutely.
And I think that's definitely what's missing too. Like I said, nowadays, if you try to tell someone else's kids what to do, like the parents flip out. Wait, what? What you say? What he say to you? So it's it's bad, man. So
That's their
and
insecurity as a parent.
yeah,
You
and
had
I
to tell
think
their kids something that
and they
showed
can't
that they
handle it.
didn't.
Right. And the crazy part is they're trying to be their friends versus their parents. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And they always say, I'm gonna give you something that we never had. Well, we had respect and we had, we respected our elders. We did what we were supposed to do from time to time. I mean, everybody mess up here and there, but at the end of the day, you respected your elders, man. Nowadays it's totally different. So it's crazy out there. But I'm gonna
Yeah. It's definitely crazy out here.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
it is. As a matter of fact, I had a discussion. Tell me what y'all think. I had a discussion with a guy at work, and he said these are some bad times. And I told him it's not bad times. He said, "What you mean?" I said, "Times stay the same. People change.
Right.
That's true.
It's look at the platforms
Mhm.
that they're exposed to. You know what I mean? Opposed to how we grew up. You know what I mean? That's when we get into, the self-care thing. What no self-care back then. Wasn't nobody thinking about self-care at all. But now self-care is very important. Mental health, very important.
Right.
You know what I mean? Tuning in, very important. These are
Mhm.
things that they should have been when we was coming up, but the way we grew up, I tell people all the time, on my block, nobody locked their doors. We
Right.
walked in and out of each other's house. Everybody knew each other. you know, you walk down the street, all the neighbors spoke, you know, all that. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, well, when we were in the different neighborhoods, we all knew each other on the block.
we all
You know,
know
so everybody knew each other. Everybody knew all the way down from the beginning of the block to you know who was on the block, across the street, up and down the block. Everybody was like family, so you knew what was going on. Nowadays, like I said, you ask somebody, "Do you know your neighbors?" Nah, I don't know them. It's like, wow, how long they been there? 3 years. I just don't talk to them. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So again, I think you know it all depends. Like you said, man, like the times, the people have changed. And like I said, when we were coming up, we had that village where we don't have it no more. And we got Amy. She says she agrees right here. She says right, Chuck, but we need the villages back. Yeah, but Amy, how do we get those villages back? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to get those villages back? Or are people willing to, you know, talk about this? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we can figure that out. But I don't know. Just let me know. Let us know. Put it like that. We got LaJordan Freeman. She says, listen, when I was young, I was skinny with glasses. Guys would always talk about me, but now them guys that talked about me all tried to talk to me now. You're beautiful. When people talk about you, it's always something you already know. That's called a hater. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm. And Amy also says mental health extremely important nowadays. You're right, because back in the day, Amy, we wouldn't talk about mental health. You know what I mean? We would just say, "Oh, he's all right. He's crazy or whatever. He hit his head a couple times. He'd be all right." But now that was something we really needed to talk about that we didn't, especially in the African American household. You didn't hear about mental health.
No.
That wasn't a part of the conversation. You know what I mean? And Amy also says, didn't lock doors of cars. Now you can't warm up your car. You can't warm your car up on cold days because these kids will steal it. That's true. Very true.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Very true.
ma'am.
Yes, indeed.
154 carjackings in the city of Philadelphia already.
Wow. That's just crazy.
And it's February. So
Yeah. I know we done touched on a lot of topics. Yeah, but these some great topics. I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
so speaking of mental health
There you go.
and self-care. So this is my thing about mental health. It's not something that was always afforded to Black people. And in my opinion, goes always back to the plantation. You got beat, you got whipped, you got your kids taken,
Right.
whatever, and you're expected to get back out there and pick that cotton.
Right.
And I really feel like that has spilled over
Mm.
generation after generation. There is no therapy. There is no I'm sad. You gotta keep moving. You gotta do what you gotta do. It doesn't matter if you hurt. It doesn't matter if somebody just took your kid. It don't matter if you just got beat up. You have to get back out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the great things in this generation is everybody is starting to recognize that mental health is so important for Black people. And I could never understand why we were so low on the totem pole in mental health when we got trauma from slavery,
Yeah.
trauma from Jim Crow,
Mm-hmm.
watching people get killed by police, people getting killed in our own neighborhood, on top of childhood issues, childhood trauma, being a parent, everyday life, whatever. It's like we have way more that can affect our mental than most people, but
Right. Right.
yet we are the least appreciated for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's why I just started to be very intentional about my mental health. And like you said, we saw people when we were younger who we know weren't right, and they would just say, "Oh, was there something wrong with them? Oh, they ain't
Mm-hmm.
take their medicine," but
Right.
you didn't really know what that meant. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like now, mental health is big, and the more people that talk about it, the better. More Black people are going to therapy. Like when I see people say, "Oh, I went to therapy," or "I got a therapist now," I'm like so happy, because therapy is not for
Yeah.
everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a great way to express yourself with a person that's not biased. This person
Right.
doesn't know you. They're strictly giving you suggestions based on what you're telling them.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely recommend therapy if that's something that someone wants to do.
Yeah, and I think
But go ahead. I'm
we're
sorry.
talking about we're talking about it now, where before we didn't, some of us honestly didn't know,
Right.
because of our our parents, they didn't really talk about it. So you don't know what you don't know. So as far as the mental health, that was non-existent to us because we just thought, hey, we could just cure everything, by just doing what you're supposed to do. Get up, you're all right. And like you said, it stemmed from, yeah, like you said, days in slavery when, like you said, it just trickled down,
Yeah.
and get up, you all right, walk it off, or, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. It's just, he's doing this and doing that. But again, I think now we're more educated as far as mental health is concerned. I think is a great thing that we do have a lot more people, going to get therapy, going to get help and stuff of that nature. So it
And
is
I
a
We
good.
think,
got
yeah.
we got to have some genuine help though,
Yeah.
because I'm sure what I'm going to say it burned your gears and yours as well, Ty. When the Delonte West situation,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
everybody, oh, poor Delonte, he need help. We got to help him. We got to help him. But what about the Delonte West from our neighborhood that you
Right.
walk past every day
Right.
and don't extend the olive branch?
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, and again, one of the mishaps of social media, because social media puts everything in everybody's house and you can be seen. Everybody wants to be, part of the gang, and until you gang up and you're ready to move out, then, oh, nah, I was just saying that because I was on TV,
Mhm.
So it's a thin line right there that can be crossed. But for the most part, yes, you got to get help. And a lot of people know they need help, but won't say nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was so I was talking earlier about, people, I don't know if y'all heard about Regina King's son
Yeah,
that
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
took his life. And it was interesting. The last thing he tweeted was, I don't think Instagram is good for my mental health.
Wow.
It bothered me for a few days. I was like, uh, you know, and then I had to think about it. I'm like, he was really putting himself out in the public eye. Like, he had just dropped his first single in January. He was getting ready to do a concert. He was posting more pictures. He was posting about his single. And people on social media are just so mean. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just go on. And I'm not trying to say that that's why he took his life. I don't know. This is just a
Right, right.
example of what goes on. Um, and people think because somebody's a celebrity or whatever that it doesn't affect them, but celebrities are human.
Right.
You're typing this mean stuff to a human being who you have no idea
Mhm.
how they feel internally. And I just want people to start being mindful of that. You don't know what comment can send somebody over the edge,
Right,
and
right,
again, I'm
right.
not saying that that's why he took his life, but that was his last tweet, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it makes you wonder if social media had an impact in whatever else may have been going on. Because I always say it's like a pile on, and then you could put a feather on top of it, and the whole pile is just going to crash. So you never
Mhm.
know what that last straw or what that last thing could be. Like, he could have stuff going on in life, and then
Right,
go on
right.
social media and see this one comment, like, that's it. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just think people need to be mindful that I saw this meme. It had a picture of Robin Williams, and it said, "People don't fake. People don't fake mental health. People fake being okay."
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
that's the truth. And he's a great example to use for that, because when he took his life, it was like, what? As
Yeah.
many jokes as he tell, as
Mhm.
as funny as he is, but he was dealing with depression. You just never ever know.
Mhm.
And the thing about my book is that a lot of people that have known me my entire life were utterly shocked that I ever felt this way about myself. Because
Wow.
I never showed it. I didn't
Mhm.
show it to anybody, but I knew. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they say behind every comedian joke comes pain from,
Mhm.
so a lot of times when they're funny, like some of that is just releasing some of that, that frustration or whatever's bothering them. And a lot of times it might seem funny to you, but it really hurts when they talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? So we got some comments out there though. We got let's see, ooh, we got a lot of them. Let's see, we got Amy Cowher. She says the problem is we can't trust a lot of people sometimes, not even family. Sad to say so. Wait a minute. Sad to say that trust makes the village building. Oh, that makes the village building difficult. We got to pray for our communities. That's true too. Yeah, you're right about that. Sometimes family is do you worse than your own enemies. And Fatimila West says mental health always have been an issue. We fail to recognize the inner turmoil, lack of acknowledgement of our mental pain and anguish. Our trauma was not recognized or cared about. Shooting in our neighborhoods, there were no grief counselors. But now, as the aggression is at other schools, the grief counselors were made available to protect and help the mentality of the children. Look at the women who were operated on by the physicians with no pain medication in the name of medical science. And that is so true. Thanks for that, Fatima. She also says American society did the same thing with the war against drugs. Drug addicts in our culture were criminalized, while now drug addiction is listed as a disease. And now there is sympathy for those addicted now that is moving in other cultural circles. That is so true. Yes, it is. Patricia Hollis says that's so true, and things differently need to change, and it's okay to see a therapist and get help and know the signs that some people need help by someone that really that can really help. That's true. That's true, Patricia. Thanks for that comment. And Fatima also says, I'm excited for where we are today when it comes to mental health, drug addiction, and trauma. I'm so glad for the African American Black professionals that have taken up professions. So now we have allies and people to help our people, children, etc. Yes, indeed. We have Shayna Gordine. What's up, lady? She says, good evening. Hey, man, that is so true. Thanks for all those comments. We definitely appreciate that. But I don't know. That was awesome. That was awesome. So
Yeah, that goes inside with self-care. Self-care, it can be a powerful antidote, especially if you already feel yourself slipping and you need, some help. You start with the self-care. Like, let me get myself together. So
that's right. That's right. That's where it all starts, from self, baby.
What's that old Richard Pryor quote? When black people catch a cold, white people catch pneumonia. Is that what? I think that's what.
Don't give me lying. I
well,
got
yeah,
tapes
but
again.
that speaks to what the young lady said about the drug addiction.
Right.
When it's us, when crack hitting the neighborhood, it doesn't matter. And then when other races, when it becomes an issue for them, now it's an epidemic. Now we got to put money towards helping them get off drugs, and it's just like, where was that energy for us? So
right.
But that's another story.
Exactly. But it's all good. I mean, hey, we're on it, so that's.
But that all plays into black people's mental health. It does. I mean, we have grown up seeing trauma. How many people you saw?
Yeah.
On drugs and drugs in your neighborhood. All of that is instilled in all of us as we continue to grow into adults. And I don't think we really have healed from.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Trauma.
Ty, when I was coming up my area, they used to have shootouts. Now, normally you run or you go in the house. We were so conditioned, we would sit out there and watch it. It was crazy. Like, I think about that now as I got older. I'm like, wow, I was really messed up. Like, I would sit out there and be like, oh, look at this, and just watch them shoot at each other. And it was crazy. So all that is trauma. And I didn't realize that, until now. I'm like, wow, that was really.
You become immune to it. I was going to say that because the stuff that's the norm to us. You take it to neighborhoods that never seen that kind of thing. It's like they watching a movie. It's like, wow, that really happens.
Yeah.
But we see it so much, because at one point in time, like you said, Chuck, when these became irrelevant, we see nothing was shocking no more to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether it was the guns, the drugs, and we seen it all. And we seen it all so common, it became the norm. But to somebody that's not used to that, it's like,
it's
wow,
extreme.
did you see that? It's the extreme. Yeah. And it's sad because even the children now that's coming up, it's not a shock to them. It's like common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at some point, somebody, somewhere, got to break that cycle. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it all points to, again, a lot of it could be avoided with self-care.
Now, how do we get to that point? Let's talk about that.
So first, I wanted to show everybody. This is my 6-week self-care workbook journal. It's called Self-Care's Bay. Bay stands for before anything else. So, and these are man and woman hands intentionally, right?
Wow.
The word bay can be for a man or a woman, and self-care is for men and women. So really the idea came from when I talk to a lot of men, they always say stuff like, I don't have time for self-care, or I feel unproductive when I'm practicing self-care, or when I'm not doing something. And I'm like, you can't be productive without self-care. And I don't think people realize that. And it goes back to what we said earlier. A lot of men are trained that, you know, their mental health doesn't matter, or they don't express their feelings, or they don't deserve to relax. They're supposed to just work 24/7, work till they die. You know, that's always been in our culture.
Yep.
You have families where the father in the house worked 14 hours a day and barely saw his kids, but maybe a couple minutes when they're going out to school, you know. So we need to do away with that because it's not productive. And I've been telling people for a really long time that men's mental health is very important. Because men are the leaders of society, the leaders of their family. And how can you productively do that if your mental health isn't right? You know? And while a lot of men do suppress their feelings, suppression does not work. It comes out in other ways. It could be drinking, you know, domestic violence, cheating, you know, just not being emotionally available or tired all the time, whatever. So it's very important that men practice self-care as well. So that's why I created the journal and said, you know, one of the myths is that self-care is for women. It absolutely is not just for women. It is for everyone. Everyone should be putting self-care before anything else. So an example of that is because people
That's all
say,
right. Okay.
I don't have time for self-care. Okay. You get dressed in the morning. You playing music while you're getting dressed. You playing your favorite song. That's self-care right there. You've practiced
Absolutely.
self-care before you did anything else. It's really that simple. Or you watch a show, like you watch Martin or something before you go to work. You've done something that has nothing to do with you doing something for somebody else. And that's what self-care is. It's doing something that makes you feel good before you do anything else for anybody. Every morning I do something. Before I talk to anybody, before I text anybody, I do something. Even something as, hey Ty, you're gonna have a good day today. It's self-care. It's a positive affirmation. So this journal, every single day for 6 weeks, you have to document what you did for self-care, if you practice it, and if you didn't, what caused you not to practice self-care. It could be a mate, it could be your job, it could be whatever. So at the end of this, you should be able to determine what your self-care strengths are, what your self-care weaknesses are.
Okay. Yeah, because you know I practice to I put it like this. My cell phone, I try to not get on it, even though it's impossible because I have to rely on in the morning. I have to look and see about meetings and all that. But I try, especially on the weekends, I try to not even touch my phone. I'll just let it sit there, and for at least an hour or so after I get up. Because I noticed at one point I would grab the phone and see what was going on. So I'm trying to get out of that. Trying to get out of that because at the end of the day, you got to clear your mind from, like you said, social media. Just things in general that you have to do, work, all that. Just clear your mind and just do something that you love doing. Another thing I like doing is working out. So I always like to work out because that relieves a lot of stress. You know what I'm saying? And it's becoming a lifestyle now versus just, it was a habit. Now it's becoming a lifestyle. So, I have to have that workout. I have to get out there and do something, to clear my mental. So I'm trying my best, taking certain supplements to stabilize my mood and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of ways you can do self-care. So I'm trying. So, I'm gonna have to get the book so I can start writing some stuff down, and I'm gonna give it to you and say, "Am I doing all right?" Here you go. Since you the professional,
Listen,
yeah.
I am a true advocate for self-care for everyone. Every Sunday on Facebook, I say self-care Sunday, what's on your agenda?
Okay.
And I'm amazed at the amount of men who now comment on my
That's
post.
awesome.
They even reach out to me and be like, Taya, I was practicing self-care yesterday. And it's like, that just makes me feel So good. And you can see the difference in people once they start practicing self-care. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
indeed. Yep.
Now, one thing that's a part of self-care that many people may not know, that's taking accountability and self-reflection. That's a form of self-care also. You know, whenever a situation happens, I look at it and say, what could I have done differently? That's taking accountability that helps you for the next time that something happens.
I'm sorry, I was
What
laughing
you
at
laughing
I'm
at?
he
just to
laughing at a
say,
comment.
yeah, get Chuck. I'm laughing at the comment, but I'm gonna tell you that just led me to something else. One of the biggest things I do for self care is laugh. Look, me
Oh,
and
you
Chuck
ain't
get on the
lying.
phone. We'd laugh for an hour straight, but we did not even saying nothing. I could just call him, "What's up?" He'll bust out laughing. I'll start laughing. We laugh. Don't even know what we laughing at. We just laughing. An hour done went by. All right, I'll get with you later. All right, that's it.
Hey,
So
listen, man, I love to laugh. I love. Now, listen, I know he always get on me when I come on the show. Of course, when you come on the show, you gotta look like you're ready for the show. So I always smile. I do that all the time. He thinks I'm playing around. I'm serious. I'll be sitting there smiling because I'm ready for the show. But he thinks I'm playing. So I mean, it's cool. But I love to laugh too. So we all we all are on the same boat. So it's all good.
absolutely.
Man, we got a lot of comments. Let's see.
Read that comment, man. You know what I'm talking. You know which
Yeah.
one I'm talking.
Oh boy.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I got to get these comments here. All right, we'll get to that one right now. Then, since we know which one that is, we got to get the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, y'all. Bear with me. All right. Okay, we right here. We got Amy Carr. She says, I will call my therapist or hotline immediately if I'm experiencing too much stress and anxiety brewing from my PTSD. Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, look, listen, if you know what's going on, hey, that's the best thing to do. There's no shame in that game there. And for Timala West says, thank you for this great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
She also says, run towards the shooting. We were conditioned, immune, and it was normalized. That
Yes,
level of post-traumatic stress causes damage to the brain, lack of empathy for other humans, it detrimental to the human. You're right. You're right, because thinking about that now, man, that was crazy. Like, that was insane. You know what I mean? She also says, before anything else, self-care. I love this awesome piece of
Thank
life-giving work.
you.
Thank you, sis.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, y'all. Get that book now. Get that book. And she also says, Amy says, I took full advantage of self-care for my birthday this month. I flew to Maldives for 7 days and stayed in over a water. Oh, that sounds good. Water bungalow.
this
It was
month,
hard for me, huh?
this month,
Uh, Birthday this month for me though,
another
because I'm on.
February, baby.
Oh, you're okay. She says I'm always home. Wait a minute, because I'm always home.
Home
Care
care.
for other. Yeah, home care for others, and I was not used to being away alone. I felt guilty. Hey, hey, listen, you had to do what you had to do, sweetheart. That's self care, baby.
So,
That's
yeah,
a no. Defensive, feeling guilty
Yeah,
about self-care
nah,
is the total opposite of self-care. You are never to feel guilty
don't feel
about
guilty.
doing for yourself. Ever.
Mm-mm. That's right. She also says, just don't OD on the A game supplements. Hey, Amy, nah, I won't do that. Trust me. It's all natural. All natural. Let's see. Fatima says men's mental health being acknowledged and cultivated could be one of the pillars that can rebuild the family. Awesome. Particularly the African American family. Men having mental strength, ability to control emotions, to understand themselves, to beginning to love self, and then creates the ability to love others that look like him. In She must be end the war on African American men, gun violence towards each other, learning to see themselves in each other. Hey, listen, amen. I wish we can come to that term. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot of work, but we can get there. We can get there definitely. LaJordan Freeman says, yes, I need that book. Amazon, am I correct?
Yes.
Amazon, look up Amazon. We're going to get all the information in the feed. But Timala West says, it is obvious when you see people who practice self-care, those people seem so much happier. They radiate joy. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, indeed. And Amy says, William makes me laugh every time I watch and he is on. You too, Amy. He be having me falling out over here, boy.
Nah.
Right.
Never mind.
Patricia Hollis says we have to motivate ourselves, love ourselves, find things that motivate you. Try not to entertain negative energy. So step, breathe, and address things different. Yes, indeed. See, the hard thing is negativity is so everybody loves it now. That's the end thing right now. And you know, being positive, that's going against the grain. So when you go against the grain, you're going to have a whole bunch of backlash, but you just keep on moving. You know what I mean? That's what we do here at Feel Good Talk. We're going against the grain, making everyone know that we have some sense when we do talk on air and not act a fool. You know what I mean?
Right. We don't got to be negative.
We don't have to be negative.
To
And
get our
negative
point
don't
across.
necessarily mean just not being negative, but just words you use also, because that triggers. Words, curse words are trigger words. So remember that. But a lot of people, you can't tell people that. Some people that. Amy also says, yes, it was February 3rd, Will. February 3rd. That's my dad's birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy belated. She says, I will work on that, sis.
Please do. Please.
Will said his on the 21st. And then Amy says, William Dickerson, looking forward to meeting everyone on the Lovebird Cruise. Yes, we will. We will be there
really?
Sunday between 12. We'll be broadcasting live from Philly. Tomorrow we'll be in New York broadcasting live from a model shoot, runway. I'm sorry, runway model. I ain't used to that, but we'll be broadcasting live from downtown in Manhattan. So check us out. That'll be tomorrow evening. And the team of the West says, keep pushing Feel Good Talk. We'll be part of a new world, the happy world. Exactly. That's what we're trying to push for here, man. Positive reinforcement, intelligent people. You understand what I'm saying? People that, want the best. So that's what we're doing here. So this is interesting. This is awesome. I love the book. Love the title.
Thank you.
And that's it's good we talked about it in an open forum, because if there's anybody out there watching, I'm sure we gave them the confidence to say, I need that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times that's, because we were so non-judgmental, you could talk to us. We're an open book. We're transparent. So that helps a lot too, because a lot of people are afraid of the response when they reveal themselves. And the fact that, we're always transparent makes people reach out like, you know what, I got a problem. And where should I go for help? Or, you know what, I've been stressed out all week. What should I do for self-care? Give me a tip or something. You know what I mean? Because
I got a whole list of them in here.
Okay, let's do it. Let's hear this, because
all right. Let me see. So, self-care activity suggestions: taking accountability, cooking, painting, dancing, exercise, listening to music, naps, the spa, manicure, pedicure, taking a mental health day from work, watching sports. That's my thing. That's a huge form of my self-care.
Well, how that's gonna help when the Lakers? Never mind. Go ahead.
Here you go. We're not gonna talk about them Steelers though. Anyway,
we could talk about them Eagles.
Right.
Oh, we was flying, baby. We was flying. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't start.
We was flying.
I will take my BB gun.
Yeah, you messing with my self-care. I'm just talking about self-care now.
He's destroying it. See that? Negativity.
Don't bring up the Eagles right now, okay?
But that's part of my self-care, watching the pigeons implode. So I mean, it worked both ways, right?
Right.
Okay.
And my self-care is watching Mike Tomlin on the field, knowing it makes you mad. Anyway.
Oh man, see, hold on. You know what? I'm
So those are just a few things, that people can do for self-care. Like, even if you sit down all day on Sunday and watch football, they're going to self-care.
That's self-care.
But that's one day. Self-care is supposed to be every single day. And this holds you accountable to make sure that you are practicing some form of self-care every single day. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, but it has to be something. I practice a minimum of 2 hours every day. No matter where, I get it in from, 2 hours. My biggest thing I do for self-care is watch Black TV sitcoms. That is what I do every single day. Mm-hmm. And it's because it takes me back to a time where things were feel good. Everything wasn't so sensitive. You watch like Good Times or the Jeffersons. They said whatever they wanted to say on there. There was no politically correct. It was just like, this is who we are. This is what, so
right.
I really enjoy Black TV sitcoms. So that's a big form of my self-care. And like I said, watching sports. So awesome. Even something is watching a show. It's self-care. One show a day, one song a day. It's self-care. You did something that takes your mind away from paying bills, going to work, dealing with people, whatever the case may be. We have to do something that's just for us every single day. We earned that.
I'm going to throw my favorite sitcom out there. What's Happening?
Oh, yes. The Bubbling Brown Sugar episode. Listen.
Bubbling Brown.
Listen. That came on not last Saturday, but the Saturday before.
Right.
It changed my whole Saturday. Like, I was in the best mood after it went off. I love that episode.
Hey, anybody out there got some favorite shows? Throw them out there real quick. But anyway, we back to self-care.
I'm about to throw myself out real quick because, but anyway, I gotta say something. Listen, Tya made a great point because Fred said Sanford and Son, one of my all-time favorites, right?
Yeah, so, I like it. Yeah,
he was in the courtroom. They had to go to court for something, and he asked the cop. He said, "You don't arrest no white people?" The cop said, "Yeah, I arrest a whole bunch of them." He said, "Man, it's enough N-word in here to make a Tarzan movie." This on TV. I was like, wow. Like, that was back then.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that. It was just on the other night.
Yeah.
And I hollered. And then the one that, listen, he has the ultimate burn. Listen, and to think, this was back in the 70s, and it's still funny to this day. When he told Esther, I could stick your face in some dough and make some gorilla cookies. Man, I was on the floor. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
That's why I watch those things, because it takes me away from this current society. And I just laugh, and I just, it's just like, it's no, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. You know what I mean? It's none of that. It's just a time where everything was not so serious, and you really just had a good time and watched your own people on TV just be themselves, and we don't really have that anymore. So
the only thing I hated about Good Times is they were always ready to get out when something happened.
That's life, though. That's like,
I was like, dang, they almost made it.
I argue with people about Good Times all the time. And I really feel like it speaks to how entitled this generation is, because people cannot see the true beauty of Good Times was that no matter what, they remained a family. They went out and worked. He ain't play no game. They had to do well in school. He loved his wife. You know what I mean? No matter what she looked like, he always like, hey, stop putting yourself down. I told you it was beautiful. Like, so I feel like people are very close.
And I got you. Yeah. That was just the frustrating part.
Yeah.
Like, God darn it. They almost had it.
But that's life, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is,
And the irony is they were living better than 80% of the people in their building.
Yeah.
As broke as we think they were, it was people that was living much worse than them. So I think that was the point. And they lived in the project. So, what you going? So, that's my favorite show, though. I love that show.
Will, good God, froze on us. All right, we're gonna go to some comments, and then because we got 6 on left, we're gonna end it because I know you gotta go to work.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got Fatima West. She says, keep pushing. Feel Good Talk will be part of the new world, the happy world. Exactly. That's what it's about. It's about changing the narrative. I'm tired of seeing our people being savages, ignorant, everything. They want to just be all this negative stuff, and that's not us. And LaJordan Freeman says, this was an awesome show. Thank you. Hey, thank you, LaJordan. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. She also says, please put up your book info again. I'm going to have to put that up before we get out of here. Amy says, my new favorite replays of Feel Good Talk. Oh, thank you, Amy. We appreciate you. Definitely a number one fan on. You definitely support us. We love it. One of the number one supporters on here. We definitely support. We definitely appreciate that. And she puts her hands up, Izzy. And Amy also says second is Living Single. Yeah, Living Single was good too. I used to like Living Single too.
I watch that every day too.
Living Single was good. We got Patricia. She says the PJs. I have a lot of shows I love to watch. Yeah, that was good too.
All my black
Men had
shows.
some really good shows back, man.
Yes, they did.
Back in the day, and, you know,
I love it.
And
I thank God for syndication every day.
Yes, indeed. Because I watch all of the shows constantly, and like you said, it brings back good memories. You know, when we were younger. Yup. And what is the book information again? Because I want to put that up there. Let me see if I can get that up there. There you go. Self-care is Bay before anything else. That's the acronym stands for. So definitely, y'all check that out. I'll put that in. I'm glad I put it in the after we get off. I'll put it on there.
And it's available on Amazon.
Okay, available.
And so is a fresh cup of tea, no sugar.
Fresh cup of tea, no sugar. Awesome. Keep that up there a little bit. Yeah. Fresh cup of tea, no sugar. Check that out as well. All right, so listen, we're gonna get out of here. I don't know what happened to Will, but he's frozen in time. So, hey, Tya, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. Anytime you want to come on, once you're on Feel Good Talk, you're always a part of Feel Good Talk. So if you have anything else coming up, just let us know and we'll get you on here. Definitely.
All right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This is William's World. William had to go. But I'm going to end the show. There you go. See that rhyme. I'm pulling. I didn't even know it. So again, this is Williams World. We out of here. Again, check us out on Williams World. Check Williams World out every Thursday at 8:30 right here on Feel Good Talk. Mind, body, soul, and business. Have a great day. Be safe out there. We'll see y'all. Peace.